Starting with mysteries, we have The Villa by Rachel Hawkins, The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, The Naturals, Killer Instinct, All In, and Bad Blood. This also has the novella, The 12, included in it. Now onto my Holly Jackson shine. She's my favorite mystery author, so I have a lot of different copies. I have all of her books, actually. But starting with The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This is the Waterstones exclusive signed edition of The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Same ordeal for Not Quite Dead Yet, Waterstones exclusive signed edition. Now the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy plus the novella Killjoy, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead, and her final book, 5 Survive. Now I have my true crime and classics mixed together. JFK and the Unspeakable by James W. Douglas, The Perfect Father by John Glatt, Under the Banner of Heaven by John Krakauer, Sons of Cain by Peter Vronsky, The Phantom Prince by Elizabeth Kendall, Butcher Baker by Walter Gilmore and Leland H. Hale, A Father's Story by Lionel Dahmer, my special edition of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I actually got this in Rome, fun fact. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and the very last one on this shelf is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Those books continue onto this shelf. We're going to start with my C.S. Lewis. A few books of his I have: The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Mere Christianity, and The Great Divorce. On to a couple more classics. We have Hamlet by William Shakespeare, Dracula by Bram Stoker, very cool edition, it matches my Frankenstein, Philip Pullman, Fairy Tales from the Brothers Grimm, and then I have 2 memoirs on my shelf. There's a couple more I want to get, but for now I have Tom Felton's Beyond the Wand and Stephen King's A Memoir of the Craft on Writing. The first half is his memoir, and then the second half is his advice on writing. That leads me to most of my Stephen King books. I have a few elsewhere, but these are the more thriller type ones. We have 11/22/63, The Stand, Misery, a classic, Mr. Mercedes, The Institute, and another classic of his, It. And I have this cute moon bookend here. Now let's move on to my historical fiction and romance shelf. Starting with historical fiction, I kind of put The Time Traveler's Wife in here miscellaneously. I have that there. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, John Irving's A Prayer for Owen Meany, and Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Now I have my Taylor Jenkins Reid shrine because I own all of her books as well, starting with the Waterstones exclusive signed edition of Atmosphere, Forever Interrupted, After I Do. No one talks about how hard it is to get them back in. One True Loves, Maybe in Another Life, Carrie Soto is Back, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, and finally my favorite of hers, Daisy Jones and the Six, which I keep displayed. Now my other romance books, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I have a few Emily Henry books, so I have Funny Story, Happy Place, People We Meet on Vacation, and then my Allie Hazelwood books, I have The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. I have the first edition of Summer in the City with the cute sprayed edges. It's my favorite romance book on my shelf for this. And then my Abby Jimenez books, Yours Truly, Just for the Summer, and Say You'll Remember Me. I also have this cutie little jelly cat. It's a little marshmallow, which reminds me of summer, and summer reminds me of my romance books, and my sister has the matching pink one, so he chills here. I love him. He's my favorite little accessory on the shelf. Lauren Roberts has an entire shelf dedicated to her just for the Powerless trilogy because I have quite a few editions of that. Powerless, the cutesy little baby novella of Powerful. I also have the regular size special edition of Powerful, Reckless, and Fearless. These are the Waterstones exclusive editions of Powerless, Reckless, and Fearless. They have reverse dust jackets, but I really have been liking the foil on it, so I'll probably end up putting the dust jackets back on one day. But for now, this is what they look like. I love it because I can switch them out to be whatever I want them to be. And finally, Fearless. This shelf, pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, I have my hardbacks of the Harry Potter series, starting with the Sorcerer's Stone, the Chamber of Secrets, the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, the Half-Blood Prince, and the Deathly Hallows. The shelf beside it carries on with my Harry Potter collection. I have all the same books, obviously with just paperback. I also have the Italian version of Harry Potter I got in Venice, and I have a little butterbeer I have displayed next to those. Beside that, I have my copy of Manacled that I hand bound and designed and made this book literally from scratch. I printed off the pages and made a copy of it before Alchemized comes out. If you don't know, this is a fan fiction of Harry Potter. Next to it, I have the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. If you are unfamiliar, there is a whole universe of the Shadowhunter series, so I'm gonna continue them over here. I've only read the first one of the Infernal Devices series, which is Clockwork Angel. So eventually they'll be continued here with the other books, but for now it's gotta hang out all alone until I get to finishing that. The goal I had with this home library is I wanted a lot of room for it to expand and grow as I read more books. So you're gonna see I have a lot of extra space, but that's okay. That's how I intended it to be. In between these top two shelves, I just moved them all down here so I could reach them a bit better to show you. But this section I've had up above. We'll start over here with my Fourth Wing trilogy so far. Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, all by Rebecca Yarros, and Onyx Storm. Then I have the Divine Rivals duology by Rebecca Ross with Ruthless Vows, and then A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. Also my One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig duology special editions that I have displayed. And same with Two Twisted Crowns, the second in the duology. As you can see, this is my Sarah J. Maas shelf that has gotten extremely full. I have no more room on this, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do once more Crescent City books come out. So I'm hoping that next it'll be ACOTAR, and I think it will be. Anyways, let's get into this shelf. We're going to start with the ACOTAR series. I'm going to move this cute little dried flower vial I got. My mom got it for me actually, and it just kind of reminds me of fantasy books and specifically the ACOTAR series since it starts out in the Spring Court. A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and finally A Court of Silver Flames. Now we have the Crescent City series. House of Earth and Blood is the first book. House of Sky and Breath, and House of Flame and Shadow. And another one of my all-time favorite book series ever, I have the Throne of Glass series. I'm going to start here with The Assassin's Blade, which is the prequel novellas. Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Queen of Shadows, Heir of Fire, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and finally Kingdom of Ash. What you are seeing here is my dystopian shelf, starting with my favorite dystopian series and just series in general, The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and Sunrise on the Reaping, the two prequels to the original trilogy, which is The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and then my friend Shelby gave me this. It's the UK edition of The Hunger Games. And my 3 special editions of The Hunger Games, I'd take them out, but they're really hard to get back in. So they chill there. Moving on to my Divergent series, another favorite of mine from when I was younger. Divergent, Veronica Roth, Insurgent, and Allegiant is the final in the original trilogy. I also have 4. Another cult classic is The Maze Runner by James Dashner, the first one, The Scorch Trials, The Death Cure, The Kill Order, and The Fever Code. A few more standalone / me only owning the first one in the series dystopian books I have. Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bastarrica. I'm totally butchering that. There is that one. Scythe by Neil Schuster Schusterman. And I have a few more Stephen King books here. I'm going to switch these around now that I'm looking at it. But 2 of them are dystopian, starting with The Running Man and The Long Walk. I also have 2 vampire-related books here, starting with Stephen King's Salem's Lot and another cult classic, Twilight. But I'm not going to lie, this book is hot trash, but I have it up here for the memes. And I wanted to put it there because I have this Vampire Diaries candle I got when I visited Mystic Falls, so it chills by my vampire books. Now we are on the final row of books. I have some more expansion packs over here with childhood books of mine that I loved when I was younger. John Stevens, The Emerald Atlas, The Fire Chronicles, and The Black Reckoning. And the reason I have those here is because this is another favorite childhood series of mine, so it continues over there, but I'm going to start over here, which is fantasy books. Lee Bardugo's The Familiar. I have quite a few copies of Six of Crows duology because it's one of my favorites ever. I have the normal hardcover. Kingdom. Same situation, same book, just first edition sprayed edges, and the paperbacks of those. I have The Cruel Prince Holly Black trilogy, starting with The Cruel Prince, obviously, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. This is another series that still mourning what I thought it would be and what its potential was, so I still have them. They're by Alex Astor. It's the Lightlark series, Nightbane, and Skyshade. Next I have the Gilded Marissa Meyer duology, starting with Gilded, and then Cursed. As for the childhood series I was talking about, this was one of my absolute favorites. It's by Colleen Hawke. This is Tiger's Promise. It's the novella prequel. Tiger's Curse, Tiger's Quest, Tiger's Voyage, and Tiger's Destiny is the original series. And then there's some spin-offs here with Tiger's Dream Part 1 and Part 2. We made it to my very final shelf, which is one that is dedicated to just Stephanie Garber at this point, and I can't wait to expand that one. We're going to start with the Carval series. Next is Legendary, Finale, and the Christmas novella Spectacular. And those are held by this cute butterfly bookend because she gives very fairy tale vibes, and that bookend gives me those vibes as well. We have the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which is my favorite by hers. The Ballad of Never After. Finally, A Curse for True Love, our final book of this tour.